Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'll be giving my first impressions review on the new Mount Coast T1 trail running shoe. And Mount Coast did send me this pair for purpose of review. However, I'm not being paid for this video. I'm not being told what to say. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So first of all, if you haven't heard of this brand, Mount Coast, they make shoes that are designed to go really far, ultra running type stuff. And in fact, the road version of the shoe called the R1, someone just wore that a few days ago and they set the new 48-hour world record. They actually only wore that single pair of shoes and they ended up setting the new world record at running just over 300 miles. For me, I have just over 10 miles on my pair. And as far as stack height goes, you're looking at 36 millimeters in the rear, 32 in the forefoot for a heel to toe drop of 4 millimeters. My men's size 8.5 weighs in at 9.2 ounces or about 260 grams. And that's decently light for a shoe that's designed to be ran in all day long. And then if we take a look at the upper, you can tell right away this thing is meant to be very durable. I believe there's Kevlar fibers sewn into this upper. This shoe is not waterproof. It is, however, fast drying. There are gator clips on the back for those of you that like to run with gaiters. But definitely the biggest feature about this upper is that there is a dual lacing system. And essentially each shoe is going to have 2 cinch cords, so you can independently adjust the tightness in the forefoot and the midfoot. And then if we talk about fit, you're going to want to go true to size with this shoe, and it is quite accommodating in the toe box. So if you have a wider forefoot and you combine that with the option to loosen up the forefoot lacing, I think that's going to help the shoe work for a wide range of different foot types. Then if we move down a little bit to the cushioning, Mount Coast is calling this their light cell midsole foam. Supposedly this is a PIBA blend, and it's going to come in at 50% lighter than your traditional EVA, and it has 45% more energy return. And after running in the shoe a couple of times, I would say that's sort of how it feels. Kind of feels like it fits between a traditional EVA midsole and a full PIBA midsole. You're certainly getting nowhere near as much softness or bounce as a traditional full PIBA midsole. You still have some nice cushion and ground feel with this shoe, and obviously being a brand that really prides itself in going really long distances, hopefully we're going to see some good durability and life out of this midsole. All right, then if we move along to the outsole, I was pleasantly surprised to see that this shoe has the Vibram Mega Grip Light Base outsole. So this thing has tons of traction. I believe the lugs are 4 millimeter lugs. You're getting full rubber coverage, plenty of lugs, and it's a Vibram outsole, so hopefully it'll be very durable, just like that midsole. And I had 0 issues with grip. I even did one section quite fast down a steep technical descent that was kind of gravelly and had no issues slipping at all. Overall, a great outsole, and I would almost say it's comparable to something like the Hoka Speed Go. All right, so like I already mentioned, I've only done 10 miles in the shoe, but my experience was that this shoe is comfortable, very roomy, protective. You can certainly tell that the shoe is more purpose-built for endurance rather than speed. I feel like if I was doing a shorter, faster trail event, I might opt for a different option. With that being said though, if you're someone who's logging serious miles or just looking for a solid option for your next ultra, I would definitely take a look at the Mount Coast T1. And that also leads me into price. This is coming in at $180 US, which I think is a great price. You're going to get a really versatile shoe, which can hopefully go the distance for you, no matter what that distance is. All right, and I think that's going to be it. Check back in a couple of months and I'll give you my 100-mile full review. And until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.